Welcome, foolish mortals.
Hello and welcome to Magical Maiden's Paranormal Vlogs. I'm Magical Maiden. So, what I wanted to do is just say hello. So, I know I didn't come on in the full time a lot. Normally, I do my paranormal vlogs whenever something paranormal happens, or typically in the fall season between late August, September, and October. And this year, I was really busy and so much was going on, and I really didn't have time. But I did put up what I could when I could. I've recently put up a whole bunch of things with orbs because I had recently got some security cameras. And yeah, you can see my microphone. So I just want to make sure that you can hear me good. So I recently had just gotten some security cameras, one for outside and one for inside. And if you watched episode 57 upwards to whatever, I guess 61 or 60, it totally takes you and it'll show you all the different it'll show you all the different orbs that I've caught in the house, as well as some weird stuff on the outside. And you should really watch the first one, 57, episode 57, because I really describe it and go into detail as much as I possibly could. I go into as much detail as I can on them and describing everything. So if you're a little confused saying, what are these things and all that, you'll know. They're not bugs, it's not dust. And recently, what happened was so I also caught sound, them saying some things. And I'm going to try to put, some of that video here at the end of this after I'm done talking, because it is a paranormal blog after all. After I'm done talking and just chit-chatting about a few things, then I'm going to show you some of the video of what I caught, both outside and inside. Now, we have a more expensive camera. It's not that expensive, but it's more than the one that we got inside. It's the same brand. But what happened was, because I picked up some sound, now I also picked up some speaking on the outside one with when those things showed up. And I told you about it on one of them, and I'll try to put that in here and explain it. So I'll try to get that going. But also in the inside, I caught a lot of different things. And they were talking, but that camera speaker on the inside wasn't as good as the one on the outside. And we thought maybe there's something wrong because it really makes too much rattly noise. We returned that and got one that we got, the same one outside for the inside, because it's an indoor-outdoor one. And you can set it for indoors, and that's what we did. And the sound is much clearer and better, which is what I really got the security camera for, was so that when we were out, I could keep an eye on my cats and the inside, obviously, and then I could talk to my cats as well. But if the speaker's crappy, so that's why we did that. But then I noticed there wasn't as many orbs. But I think that's just because they were calming down, because we've been catching a lot more. And I'm going to try to add that in there, the new ones, and I'll show you the ones by the door that I got twice. So also there was a thunderstorm one night, and some of the EVPs that I had caught. So I'll try to put that in on this video towards the end of the video. Okay, so I wanted to chit chat about, you ever know when you live in a different place, whether you live out in a different state or another country or even in another town, did you ever wonder how weird it was that something can have that similar look and vibe, that how another area can have a similar look and vibe than another area that you've been in? And I'll explain. For instance, there's areas where I lived in Long Island, New York, and when I lived in Florida, there were certain areas that reminded me of that same area, just the way the road was, the way the buildings were, or houses. The same thing happened when I was in when I lived in upstate New York. There were similar areas. And then when I moved down here, I'm finding to Alabama, there's certain areas that remind me of an area in New York that I lived in when I lived upstate New York. And it's just weird. It's like the block will almost look the same if you're going through a neighborhood. The houses are similar. And it's not that they look exactly the same, it's just a weird, similar look and vibe of that area. And it feels just like that. For instance, there was this road up in upstate New York, and that my husband and I used to. Basically, there was a road straight, okay? Then there was a split fork thing, little island, and then you go like that, and it was like a curve. You can veer off to the left and go around that curve. And then you had traffic coming around that other part that were leaving that curve. There's a similar, and just the way it looked, where you went in there and you made that, and you went around the curve and you're going down a road. And up in upstate New York, it was like that too. And there was woods, and there was woods here. There used to be like a firehouse on one side, but in here there's like, I don't know, some kind of a church or something building. And then you just go down the road and it's all woodsy, and some houses exactly like that, except when you went further upstate New York, then there was a lake and whatever. But that road has a similar look and vibe. So I find that weird. It's like certain areas can remind you. They're not exactly the same. They may not even look the same, but they have a similarity to them and a vibe. And I just thought that was kind of strange. I was wondering if anybody else experienced that, because I've experienced that through my life in various different places. I lived in different states. I've never been out of the country, but I've been in different states. And I did, lived in different towns in the same state. And you always find an area that's similar. It's just strange. And I know someone's going to say, well, that's just because it's architecture or they do the roads the same. It's more than just that. It's also like a vibe. Like it's just repeating itself somewhere else. It's a matrix thing. So it's just kind of weird. And I wanted to share that with anybody that's thought of that. So yeah. But anyway, now getting back to the orbs. So I caught a few orbs, and there was one where I was checking out my door, and please don't judge. I wearing extra large shorts and a really baggy shirt. So I may look big in it, but it's because at night I like to be comfortable, so I wear really extra big shorts and really big top to be comfortable in. So I had that on, and I'm by my front door looking out because I have an oval glass, and I have these two solar lights that flicker. They look like gas flame. They're not bright. They're medium. They're just for like ambiance. Look kind of like see that light right there on the house. That's the kind of glow it gives. It's like a flame light. So one of them was only on and it was super bright, and the other one was off, and it was like 1 a.m. By then, since they're only solar, they usually burn out about between 9 and 10 o'clock. Even if it's a sunny day and they got full sun, they could last till 10, but sometimes only till 9 or 8:30. And I was like, this is weird. Why is only this one on and it's bright, and it was flickering. And so I was looking at it, but behind me, you see, of course, my cat, Salem, but all these orbs, right? And, but I've found that in wherever I live. So don't discard your security cam videos that say that's just dust or that's just a bug. They put that in so that you would discard orbs, because people were noticing a lot of orbs, and they knew that was going to happen when people got night vision cameras, night vision apps on their phone. When people started using cameras more, they knew that you all were going to be getting more orbs. So they put it out to the paranormal community that these are just dust and bugs and it's nothing, and since you can't prove it, forget it, or it's just, but they're not. So pay attention to them. Really look at them. And if you have sound, listen and don't say, oh, this is just hacked. People talk into these cameras. Well, my cameras aren't hooked to anything. Yes, it goes to an app that goes to my phone and I can see it, but they're not hooked up where I have to pay or anything like that. So, and I'm well aware of the things they're saying. And so most people can't hear it because I'm a clairaudient. So I can hear these things more than the average person. And I try to take the clips that are reasonably loud that I think the average person can hear. And I try to clean them up with the noise and make them louder. And then I put them up. Unfortunately, not everybody can hear it. But if you put headphones on or earbuds and turn the volume up, you can make it out. I could hear it a lot clearer, but they were saying things. There's an incident with my cat. It happened like at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, and we were sleeping and we were right there. So we should have heard it. Our bedroom is just there. It's not a huge house. It's just a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, So my cat Salem was sleeping on a chair in the living room and he got spooked. They were sleeping for quite some time. My other cat was on the couch, Magic, sleeping. And all of a sudden, Salem, out of a dead sleep, gets up and goes psh, and shoots up. And my other cat looks around. And then you hear a noise. And it wasn't my cat Salem because there's nothing he crashed into. But you hear this loud noise. And we saw it in the morning. And I'm like, well, I'm a light sleeper. That would have woke me up. I never heard anything. So we went looking all around the house for something that could have fell or been knocked over. I even looked in my freezer to see, the automatic ice machine, if an ice cube fell down. Nothing. So I don't know what spooked him out of a dead sleep, and I don't know what that noise was. It wasn't him because where he jumped off the chair, there was nothing there that he could have knocked into. It's a clear, straight thing to the hallway, and down the hallway, straight ahead is his room, because the cats are spoiled. They have their own room. Then if you make a right before their room, there's the bathroom, and right where their room is, you make a left, and it's the room I'm in now. Our office / video crafting guest room and storage room where I have tons of totes. So we don't know. And we did hear someone say something like, get him on the thing. And then another day I heard somebody say, what's that? And they're like, oh, that's the cat Salem. He's a scaredy cat, someone said. And, they did talk and say a few things, but then what I did was, well, I'm like, I don't know what's getting in here, so I'm going to say it to the house. And I did a protection prayer, and I don't know what it was. I don't know what that thing is, because most of the time the orbs are friendly orbs, but whatever was in front of the door was not orbs, and they were nasty. So they were negatives, whatever they were. They called something. When I was listening, I asked. So I sat down because I can talk to interdimensional beings, spirits, and other entities. And I asked, what were those things by the door? They said they were not good. And then someone said bad. And I had that EVP in another video. If I have it, I'll put it again. But so I'm like, okay. I even checked with the pendulum and it said it was bad. So I'm like, well, what do they want? Something to do with me. They said because of my connection with Christ and the fact that I have my abilities, and they don't like that. And they called them, because I asked, what are they? They said, now I could swear they say flags, whatever that is, other than a flag. They said they're flags. So I'm still looking into that and trying to figure it out. I really don't know what flags are, other than the flags that you hang outside, country flags. So I'm not really sure what they meant by that. So I'm currently looking into that. So yeah, I'm still getting orbs. Now, if you're interested in the cameras I have, they're relatively affordable. We got them off of Amazon. I will put the links below. They're good little cameras. One's indoor, one's outside. So really, you should check them out. So I got orbs all the time. So here's a picture I took around Christmas before I got the cameras. Okay, so there's a lot of orbs in here. You can spot them. I was going to circle them, but I want you to spot them. They're everywhere. And then You know, I've gotten them all my life. I've got strange anomalies around me and orbs. So they're kind of normal and I don't feel threatened or scared by the orbs in the house. The things that were outside the door are whole of the ball game. I don't know what they are, what they were, if they're coming back. Uh they're not friendly. And I wonder, do any of you ever experience anything weird on your cam? So let me know. Have you picked up something similar or the same or, you know? So let me know below. And yeah, go check out episode 57 onwards. So if you, right after this, if you don't see any little clips or anything or EVP clips, then I didn't add it in when I'm editing. So if not, I'm going to say goodbye now. And if I do, then I'll say goodbye after that. Okay, so you're going to see a few orbs. You see that one? And there's more. A whole bunch over here. And I'm just showing you what we catch. These are newer ones than the last ones you saw. And that's a big one. They can get pretty big. See that one? Now I'm not going to put any EVPs on this one because the video ended up being too long. So I'm just adding some of my newest orb catches. And don't forget to check out episode 57 and on. Did you see that big one? And there's more to come. Just a few more I added, but I will be making another video with all the orbs I caught in the last few days. And then I will put some EVPs in. Here's another one coming through. And don't forget to look below for the link to those cameras if you're interested. Whoops, see that one? Here's another. And look at that one to the far right. And that one. Okay, so here comes my cat out of our bedroom. Oops, and in goes an orb. That's me. I was peeking out at that light I told you about. My cat sailing behind me and orbs flying all around. And then my cat, and I went in the bedroom and look, all the orbs just flying. And so later, there's just orbs going on. See that one? It goes up and goes to the door. And then up. And that's my husband. He's putting the camera on and going into our bedroom. And see that orb? And a few more orbs. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in my videos. Bye. Stay spooky.